Hello and welcome to Casting Roles. We are a bunch of theater nerds who play D&D and other games. Thank you for joining us for the second session of our D&D Classic meets Modern Ghosts of Saltmarsh with our Game Master, Rob. If you're liking the show, please don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. And if you want to find us on social media, we're on Twitter at Casting Roles and on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Casting Roles ILM. Our videos are uploaded on YouTube on Fridays. But let's go ahead and start the show.
Hello, campers!
Hello.
And welcome back. Where we last left off, last session, which was our first one, we met all of you. You were students at the Greyhawk School for the Arcane, going off on a summer site project to work at a temple to excavate it, find new and exciting things. Our adventure was not about that. We did have some vignettes during the course of that, during which we had Ivar discovered a drake named Mayhen. Did I get it right, Ron?
Yep.
And Thoreau managed to cast an ancient summoning spell with the aid of Lyra, and in the middle of the night got jumped on by a stoat which had no business being in this part of the world. Which he named Archimedes. We had Sarek hang out with some of the workers because he's more of that speed, and learn some interesting things about a sea hag. And Lyra, we discovered, loves plants and chemicals and mixing things, and proved her worth and came up with a couple of interesting compounds that they're able to carry with them. Into the summer, because of some scrolls that Thoreau helped discover that were very fragile, instead of the group teleporting back and shipping the equipment over the seas, they sent the equipment back via teleport, and you guys were sent overseas. You had some fun on the ship as you were becalmed for 6 days, thanks to a roll from Josh. You were chased by pirates, and then entered a storm where, thanks to a prodigious nat 20 by Sarek, you managed to save the life of your professor, and rather than him getting swept away and drowning at sea, he was able to free himself enough to teleport back to the school, however, leaving the four of you on your own. You helped repair the ship. You made it into the lovely village of Saltmarsh, which is a fishing village with delusions of grandeur. They're starting to build and add some stuff for merchant vessels. It's becoming more of a port of note. You were put up in one of the popular inns, and by popular I mean the only inn in town, the Snapping Line, which is made up of old boat parts and interesting things. You spent the night. Thoreau and Sarek entertained the people, and you went to bed. And now, here we are the next morning. So, how does everyone start their day?
Did we all have rooms to ourselves?
You did. You had small, they were like 6 by 9. They had a hammock.
Oh, that's right.
So
yeah.
while it was an individual room, it was a small space, and there's a common space upstairs, so it's kind of like you're in a dorm suite.
Okay.
It's the easiest way to explain it. So you have a little common area where the four of y'all could sit. You could eat in your room if you wanted to, talk about stuff, but then you do have the private sleeping accommodations.
Ivar will start his day doing some early morning training with Mayhen. Just simple, fetch this, retrieve this, that type of thing. Just familiarizing ourselves with each other and making sure we communicate well.
Okay. Are you staying in the bedroom, the common room, or are you going downstairs to get breakfast as part of this?
We'll go downstairs. We'll eat breakfast and we'll train while we're. So the little bits of bacon and meat are going to be her incentives.
Okay. Your man behind the bar this morning is a guy named Rufus. He is your bartender / cook because it's more of a morning thing. He has the classic rough spun, but with a white apron over him. And by white, I mean kind of grimy and dirty and covered with sauce. It looks like it has been cleaned, but it is just showing the wear of ages. So he's not dirty in the sense of being a filthy person. Just he's been here for a while.
He's an innkeeper in a fucking fishing village. He's been handling
Well,
fish.
not to put too fine a point on it, but Cody is exactly right.
Yes.
He's got white hair, kind of a mop. You can tell he's got tattoos and scars, so that you can tell at one point he was a fisherman, probably aged out of doing the grunt work, and was hired on here by Hannah Rist, the inn owner. And so you come down and you've got Mayhen, and he's like, "Whoa! Haven't seen one of those in a while."
Oh, just paint, nothing, and I tuck her back away.
Oh no, you can leave her out. Drakes are so fun. They are awesome creatures. We had one that was good luck on the ship I was on. They're awesome.
Really? So
I've got to. And he runs in the back and comes out with this little tray of like little sweetmeats, basically the scraps that have been cut off of things that he's been cooking. He's like, "Oh, give him this. They love fatty snacks." And
okay. So
you have a small one, so they're still growing, so it's okay for him. And
okay,
can I get you anything for breakfast?
I'll just have some porridge. Start my day off with something hearty on my ribs.
Porridge it is. And he goes back and makes you porridge. Okay. What are the rest of you doing? And Avar is playing fetch. There's no one else in downstairs right now, so he was the first one. So yes, Lyra.
Coming down to breakfast as well. No longer clutching a plant. The plant is safely transplanted in my room. I probably clapped some flowers on it. Could I get an Irish coffee, please? And what do you recommend for breakfast? Chef's choice.
What's an Irish coffee?
Okay, there's alcohol.
Oh, one of those. Okay. You want a stout coffee.
Yes.
All right, he goes in the back and
Ireland's in Faerun.
He's like, well, there's really chef's choice is really the only thing. So he brings out a bowl of porridge and sliced. I guess the closest thing is kippers. Basically, everything is fish related. So where you normally have sausage or bacon, you're having bagels and lox and kippers and that kind of thing. So there's a variety of small fish. He brings you a little bit, basically a sampler platter. And he makes you a coffee, and he pours some. I forgot my dice. Hang on one sec. I knew I was missing something.
Rob has 6 million dice. There should be everywhere.
Well, I got a new dice case, so I transferred everything over and forgot to bring it out. I knew I was missing something. Okay. So, Josh, it's one like you got.
Yay! I love my dice case.
Alrighty, and we are using our natural dice, so nat 20 on the bartender.
Nice.
Lyra, your coffee, this is the most amazing cup of coffee you've ever experienced. You were expecting the place like this, something that was like really bitter, and probably the coffee pot hadn't been cleaned ever. This is the finest cup of coffee. This man is a magician with coffee, and you understand now why he's the cook, because his food's not great. It's not bad, but his coffee is amazing. And as you and Ivar are sitting there, people slowly trickle in, and you realize that was probably the early morning crowd has already come in and gone out to go sailing. And now it's the tradesmen who are getting ready for their days are stopping by. And basically they're coming by with their own mugs, getting coffee and leaving. They're not staying to eat. So you're seeing some of the townspeople cycle through.
Okay.
Sarah.
Morning, Lyra.
I need to bring up my notes. He basically just comes down. He does one of those really big stretches. He couldn't really do it in the room, and you just hear pop, 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 pop all the way up his back. And he just goes, sits down. Do you have any juice? Like orange juice?
Juice.
Like orange juice, like juicing an orange over a glass.
No, but I've got peach.
Peach is good. Now, can we mix that with some rum?
Abso-damn-lutely.
Awesome.
And so he goes off, and once again, this is one of the finest beverages you've ever had.
Yes. Can I store some for later? I'm asking the man directly. Can I store some?
Absolutely. You know, it's here's the thing. The peach juice is going to ferment after a while, but since you've already mixed it with something, it only gets better.
My man. My man has got the science in his brain. Can you take this for me? He just hands him like an empty water skin.
Absolutely. And he fills it up.
Thank you.
He's like, your first 2 days are paid for, so this one's on the house.
I'm still going to give him just like a few silver. Here.
Oh,
Just,
you are
this is
true.
for you.
I would call you a
Thank
gentleman,
you.
but I don't want to insult you like that.
Oh, I understand. I would do the same. A great brewmaster if I've ever seen one. And he just taps that, puts it away, and then just starts drinking from the mug.
All right, so the three of you are down there. Anything in particular you're talking about or doing besides just eating and playing fetch with Mayhem?
Just catching you up, how to just sleep, all that good normal stuff, I think.
Well, it was slightly more solid, solid ground, land and all. It was quite good. How about you?
10 times better than sleeping on that ship. Oh my God.
What is y'all? You need sea legs.
I'll never grow them.
Well, you shouldn't grow them. Then you'd have 4 legs. That's strange. Why would you want to grow them?
Some of the best people I know have 4 legs, honestly.
Just adapt. You just adapted. This was not, by the way, a slight at her. She's great. You, on the other hand, you do not need 4 legs. I don't know where you put them to begin with. Just adapt your legs. You don't need 4.
You see Mayhem kind of rear up and look down at.
I know. He don't take offense. He doesn't mean it.
Can I take one of the little meats and see if Mayhem will play fetch with me?
Sure, go ahead.
You also still have Archie.
Yes.
Because Thoreau gave Archie to Lyra last night.
I thought Archie got passed.
Archie would have been in the common room, making his way around that. So because
But I'm also absolutely playing with Archie and letting Archie sample my breakfast because I'm concerned about the breakfast, but the coffee is fantastic.
okay. Ivor, when you talk to Mayhem, are you trying to communicate telepathically, or are you talking to it? And if so, how does he answer, or she answer?
Do we have a telepathic bond?
I think so.
We do. So I will probably speak to her because I believe being with her, I know Draconic, if I'm not mistaken.
Ivor, languages.
No, it's not on my sheet, so maybe not.
You should have
Dwarvish,
Draconic.
Halfling, Infernal Orc, and Abyss.
Well, I haven't taken my subclass yet.
Oh,
That's cool.
right, yeah.
No,
So,
you did
not
reach
yet.
3rd, so you have taken your subclass, so you do have it.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, it's basically the way I treated it is that y'all started off the first day at level 1, but over the course of the summer you leveled up to 3.
gotcha.
So you should
So I'll
have
say
Draconic, yeah.
Yeah, I'll speak to her in Draconic
Mhm.
just to respect her her ancestry.
Mhm.
And I guess maybe she can respond telepathically.
Does she make any cute noises or anything, or
Oh, yeah, there's
she's
little-
silent? Or...
Little chittering and like clicking and stuff.
Okay.
It's the cutest thing you've ever heard.
Y'all notice that
I
Thoreau
can't do
has
it.
not come down to join you. He apparently is sleeping in.
So Thoreau's been in his room reading through the journal to make sure that he remembers the things that have happened in the last day and in the course of their journeys together, and then also pulling himself together, in his appearance wise, so that when he descends down the staircase, it will be appropriately dramatic.
Has anyone spoken to Thoreau this morning, or?
I haven't, and I'm just scritching Archie. Maybe we
I
should.
thought maybe one of you had. Be honest with
Around that time, from the staircase, you hear, "Friends, Saltmarshians, countrymen, lend me your ears. We come to slay the day, not to bury it." And he goes on like this for a little bit. I don't have it all, but I want to use my inspiring leader feat to give you all temporary hit points for whatever is going to be hitting for the day. So you each get 8 temporary hit points.
I
Excellent.
feel inspired.
Yeah.
By the way,
someone
I've been
got
watching
laid last
Fantasy
night.
High, and I love Zach Oyama carrying on the. This is about to get inspiring.
Yes.
Just throws it away every single time when Allie Beardsley goes off on a tangent. It's high comedy there.
Yes. And then as he comes down to the table, orders some food and drink from the bartender, joins you all with his rapier at his side and his dulcimer slung across his back, and joins at the table. Well, everyone sleep well after our excursions last night. Any banging headaches this morning?
Thankfully, not for me. How about you? How did you sleep? Did you sleep? You look well read.
Well read. No, well rested. Absolutely. There's nothing like a couple kicks of the old mule to knock you out on a cot for 8 hours of solid rest.
An interesting conversation ensues.
Mhm.
So you finish your meal and it's about time. What are you going to do with your day? Is there any place you want to go? You do have the cloth map that you were sold along with the legend. That was a separate transaction. So you have the day and the town in front of you.
Well,
So I turned to Rufus. So I heard last night in some of the gatherings, people, what's going on with the council exactly? I heard that there's some tensions.
He looks around and give me a persuasion roll.
You got it.
You need to beat a 5.
That we'll see.
oh no.
Incredible. I did not. I got a 2.
How you messed that up?
He's
Because-
he oh, it's it's any small town is going to have its tensions and disagreements. So
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, well.
Well, I'm curious. Where do you stand on the side of the tensions of arguments personally?
I'm a bartender. I'm on the side that sells the most drinks.
But surely, sir, a bartender is the most informed individual in any town when it comes to the ins and outs of local politics. You give us a little bit of an in, couldn't you?
Give me a
Very good
persuasion
point.
roll,
Absolutely.
and you have to beat a 9.
How does a 25 sound?
Your flattery worked. He's like, well, Saltmarsh was always a fishing village, and we were good at it, and we're a stop along the way. But once the King of Keelan decided to stop expanding west and focus more on expanding to the south and dealing with the sea princes, well, there's been more and more traffic through here, and some people resent that. Some people are looking at it as an opportunity. So there's a little bit of the old not old money, but the old school crowd that have been here for their entire lives, and some of the people embracing challenge have been here their whole lives, but they're more the people who've like owned things versus actually doing it. So there's a little bit, and then with the mine opening up, that's brought in more outsiders. So it's, you know, there's a question of which way do we want the village to go? Do we want to stay small and stay true to the selves that we've always been, or do we want to take advantage of this opportunity and grow and become more of a major port and a stopping place along the coast and increase the size of our town and welcome in foreigners, no offense meant. You know, it's just a question of really which way the town wants to go, and there's naturally very strong feelings one way or the other.
I can see that. That's pretty interesting.
Well,
Some are set in their ways, and some are more okay with more people coming in.
Yeah.
You see it everywhere where traffic isn't normally there and is only over the past few years started to come in more and more.
Yeah, and there's been some other challenges because, you know, there's always been a little bit of smuggling going on and nothing major, but the concern is that with the port becoming more and more and with more official people in, that smuggling's gonna bring the syndicates in, and it's gonna turn from just, you know, bringing somebody a good bottle of something here and there or to more of serious crime and drugs and people and that kind of thing. So there's also, even among the underground here, there's a little bit of contention over which way things should go.
So is that perpetuating even more violence in the community?
No, not violence, not yet. I don't think we're at that point. I think everybody still knows everybody and everybody's still being civilized about it, but with the influx of outside people, that's the fears that's going to change, and even those who want change are still wanting to maintain their level of control on things. So there's that secondary level of tension below the first level. So there's a lot going on, and the dwarves, for example, with the mines, they're a new factor in here, and as in fact one of them has made it onto the council because of what the king said, and well, you know, that's shaking some things up, and well, there are other people who feel that they are more in line for it, but you can't argue with what the king says.
Yeah, you know.
Well, interesting political conundrums going on in your small little fishing town.
And the town, while small, probably holds good 500 people, which is, for a small fishing village, is pretty robust.
How have you not expanded a little bit more along the coastline at that point?
Well,
or is it like deeds to land and getting it sort of? I don't know the political landscape of your town.
You know, there's a lot of fishermen, and fishing, when the major industry is fish and everybody's eating fish, and what's the difference between your fish and someone else's fish? There's not a lot of money in that, so there's a lot of I don't want to say tents, but well, they've got a roof over their head, and that's about the best I can say for it.
Yeah.
So there's a fair amount of that. Now, with some of the boats being owned and things like that, there are more people who are actually in homes, but it tends to be, you know, entire generations of families and stuff. So it's you know, we're growing, and we've got some room. The old wall borders us on the southwest, but to the northwest, up near the Grove, once you get past that and kind of go up the hill, there's a whole lot of land up there. So we're not too. I don't think there's an issue with expansion in that, and they're about to build a bridge out onto Spirit Point, which is a little rock island that's kind of there by itself. And they're talking about building a quay along the side of that on the inside for more room for ships to dock, so that we've got docks on either side. So there's expansion plans on that side.
Well, we are probably going to be here for a few days. Is there any particular sites of interest that you would recommend for local travelers? Not interested in like anything that a tourist might be into, but something of interest. Or is there a jobs board, or we might be able to make ourselves of use during our time here?
Well, the council's actually meeting this afternoon, so you might go by there. They'll put up notices and things like that if somebody's looking for a job, and some of the people may need some assistance, like Ivar the drover always can use some help, and there's the druid who runs the grove. He's always looking for plants and interesting things and people to go out and find stuff, and of course with Carpenter's Guild, they're wanting people to go bring exotic woods back from the swamps and things like that. Most people don't like going in the swamp because it's a swamp. We're more comfortable on the ocean. So there's all kinds of things if you're looking to get work in town.
It's interesting. I'd be interested to see what the council has to say. It's hard to pass up a good afternoon in the swamp, though, so...
I see we have different ways of determining what a good afternoon looks like.
I enjoy hours in the swamp. That's what me. I'm not the weird one here.
Trudging through brackish water that I can't, understand does not sound like a great time for me. But hey,
imagine all the creatures you'd run into. Just those little critters. Just crikey.
You said crikey?
What? No, just let's decide where do we want to spend our
hanging around the dwarves too much over here.
Oh, there's one other thing. If you're going to be in town for a little while, every 5th night, Gellin Primewater throws a party, and everybody comes. He's one of the members of the council, and the man's got more money than he's got right good sense. And actually, you might be able to get hired on to be entertainment with what y'all played last night. We're kind of used to the same acts, and and they're good and they're entertaining and they're fun. And, well, that's what I'm saying. You guys were a breath of fresh air. I heard you brought a lot of business into the shop last night, and so you might present yourself to him after the meeting today, or if you go by as potentially signing up. And if you're not an act, everybody's welcome, so you should go. Or you could even go and kind of size up the competition and then make your bid after that, because you've got something to compare yourself against.
Comparison is the thief of joy. Just write that down somewhere. It'll be something good for you to remember.
I can't write.
Oh, well, here. He writes it down in the journal and then tears out the page and hands it over.
It was never...
Thank you. I will treasure this always. And he tucks it into one of his
and you said
apron.
2 things very quickly. You said every 5th night. Where are we in the calendar of escapades?
We're on our 3rd day.
A 3rd, so we got a couple more days. And his name was what again?
Gellin Primewater.
Gellin Prime. What a luxurious name. All right.
He owns a lot of the merchants fleet that you see around here. So not the fishing side, but the trade ships. So Ada Oland is the one that is more of the fishing side.
Oh, so if we were looking for perhaps a ship passage somewhere, he might be someone to talk to about that.
Yeah, that would be one thing, and the other would be the merchants over at the EU's folks. They get ships in about every month or so, and they're coming from a long way away because they're shipping out a bunch of salted fish. apparently where they're from is way far away. You got to sail across the ocean and go up a river and then through a lake and then up another river. But apparently we got the best fish, so they come. They're another option if you're trying to get across the ocean.
Interesting. Thank you.
Everybody roll me a history check.
Oh.
We'll see how this goes. That landed on all the dice. It was a 16, and that sucks, but I'll do it again.
No.
Hang on.
Oh, man.
Pardon?
It's a 2 on the dice.
What'd you get, Cody?
15.
15.
Hey.
And Lyra?
16.
Yay.
Wow. There you go.
Okay.
I'm just
We're well versed
distracted
in our
playing
history.
with Mayhem.
15 and above, you have heard of EUs.
EUs.
It is a nation and the name of the leader. And it's not a very good reputation.
Might want to avoid
It
that.
is. There are rumors that EUs was an acolyte of Vecna because he's lived for apparently several hundred years. He was out of action for a while, but recently has returned under mysterious circumstances. Lyra, you kind of put some things together here because, he said, as Rufus said, this is an awfully long way to go for food. And part of that probably has to do with the fact that a lot of the quote unquote good nations won't deal with EUs. They're opposed to supporting them. So they're really having to go far afield where people aren't as familiar with their reputation or don't have qualms about taking somebody else's good money. So it's unusual for them to be so far out, but you can also, it kind of makes a little bit of sense. And it also, EUs has expansionistic drives. This is way far out of their way. But in the passage between here and where they're from, they're going to be going past a number of interesting ports where you could pick up information. So there's probably also a little bit of a spying operation going on.
Well, thank you so much. I'm looking around the empty bar and I'm like, I know you must have so much to get to with your day and we don't want to take your time.
A couple of more people come in and are wanting coffee. He's like, excuse me, I got to go. People just love my coffee. And he goes and preps it. And all of you, as with Lyra, those of you who have had coffee, it is shockingly good. It's like, Thoreau, you've been to some nicer places, and this is right up there with her. You don't know where he's getting his bean from or what he's adding to it, but this is actually worthy of you to drink.
Thoreau will take out another small notebook that has a scrawl on the front, but he kind of covers it with his hand, and he writes down in there coffee market ? And then puts it back into his pocket.
Okay, so we've got several leads for you. Where do y'all want to go? There's the council meeting in the afternoon, so if you want to go by that, there's time for you to do other stuff before then. You don't have to go by there. There's been, like I said, enough other leads planted that you've got some options in front of you.
I do want to catch the council meeting, but I personally want to go to the Sea Grove.
Okay.
Oh.
Seagrove? I can accompany you to the Seagrove Lyra.
I thought a fellow druid might want to go to the Sea Grove.
I actually would not mind going there myself just to touch point and give respect.
Well, I guess we're going to the Sea Grove then. That's 3
Hey, no
votes
one's forcing you
full.
to, but, you know, if you want to travel around alone, that's on you. But
Well, I was hoping to check out a market, see if there was anything of worth purchasing here. If you guys want to give me a list of things that you could potentially buy, I could pop by the market and then meet you out Seagrove way after I've done some shopping.
Don't hate you at shopping either.
Choices.
What if we head by the Sea Grove and then swing back to the market? That way we're not carrying our new wares
Look at the
with
map.
us.
Is that feasible? Is that a feasible option?
No.
Yeah, I think coming back to the Seagrove or going to the market after the Seagrove and then going to the council meeting probably
Sweet.
fits into the map.
Sweet.
All right,
I lost the
so
list.
Yeah, it's like a mile out to the
and Seagrove actually is really close to you guys.
Mhm.
If you go out the back door, there's a field where some
Number 20.
vegetable of some kind. Lyra, you would know that it's a combination of corn and gourds. But there's a little road that runs by there, and there's a little tiny house right on the outside of the grove, and then there's the grove itself. And the little tiny house is kind of right there at the edge of the tree line, which is probably where the druid lives. So we head that way.
yes,
Anybody who has a passive perception of 14 or higher, roll me either an insight or a perception check, please.
Nope. How do you not have
I
past perception of
said the
14, Ivar?
I don't know.
that
I
one.
didn't.
The 13.
My
I'm
stats
so
right.
close.
I've got that 14.
Okay.
I would roll perception check. That is a critical 20.
Yay!
Okay.
Hey.
Ivor, in the course of coming ashore in the ship and walking to this place, and now that you come out, there are a couple of things that kind of stand out to you. Number one, when you come out the back door and see the fields, you realize that you've not seen any horses or work animals. Now, this field was clearly plowed, so there must be some, but there's been no hitching posts in front of everything. So what you're used to in the city with, and you think about it, and now that you think about it on the docks, everybody was doing stuff in push carts. So apparently horses are a rarity around here. So there's that. And two, this is actually for... Rufus really described it well, because there's a lot of subsistence level fishing, but there also is some money. So like the Skellin Prime Water guy, you've seen a couple of really nice warehouses and a couple of medium-sized trade ships that ply the region in the area. So this is a very mixed community. And from some of the places that you pass to get here, such as you pass the smithy and other things, that there's also seems to be a thriving middle class. So typically with your small village, it's tends to be not many opportunities for money, and you tend to get a lot of trade versus specie in exchange. But here it looks like they'll do everything. If you want to trade some fish for something, fine, and barter. But if you want to pay gold, they'll do it. And most of the merchants actually carry a little bit, not a huge amount, not what you're used to by city standards, but you can infer that there are opportunities here that if you're going to be stuck here for a period of time waiting for the right ship to come through, there are things that you can do to keep from being bored.
Gotcha.
So we go down the road and we end up. Do you try and go knock at the door of the little hut, or do you go into the grove itself?
Can you describe the grove? Like, how luscious? What do we got? What do we got?
It is the thickest batch of greenery that you've seen. There have been some trees and more like a copse of trees than a forest. This is like a miniature forest. It's not big, but there's some taller trees than you'd expect this close to a swamp and the ocean. So clearly this is well kept. There's not a lot of undergrowth. There's some bushes, but they seem to be strategically grown. And the trees, there's a good bare patch of 10 or 15 feet before you start getting the boughs. So you can actually see through fairly well, and you find a pathway, and I wouldn't say it's well trod, but it is clearly more than just an animal path track, and it seems to be kept clear, if not from use, then from deliberate maintenance.
Okay, if you guys want to go knock on the door hut, you're going to want to get Lyra's attention because she is now one of the happiest little kids in a candy store. She is outside. She is in nature. There is greenery, and she's going to start heading right towards it. She wants to go be in nature. She's got Archie, and Archie's hopefully like looking excited. Like, we're going to go freeze.
Thoreau knows no better and will just follow the druid, hoping that the druid knows what they're doing. So
I will actually go on ahead and walk up to the hut, though.
Okay.
And give it a...
It's a small hut. It probably is just one room. It's like a tiny house.
Yeah.
Basically.
No.
No one answers the door.
Okay. I continue. I leave it and I follow the group.
Okay, y'all head into the grove, and let me see. Nope, not you. No, sorry.
Not you.
You guys see Lyra like produce her small little like book from her hip, and you just see her like sketching the leaves, drawing and taking note of like the exact shapes and points and how they grow from the branch, and she's very fascinated.
Yep. This grove is probably 600 yards wide by about 400 yards high, so not huge by any means, but like I said, it's the biggest growth you've seen around here. With the ocean being right here and the salt air and storms coming in, trees tend to be, I don't want to say stunted, but more wispy because of the salt in the air, as well as frequent winds. They're the bend don't break variety. But this is actually, there's some actual oaks in here. So this is more of a thing. And the path runs through, and you can see off in the distance a couple of other paths. It's kind of like a nice little park. And you get in about a third of the way, and there's a little bit of a clearing. It's not like green grass opening because the canopy still covers the area, but there is a little bit of an opening, and you see a little shrine there, and you see a small halfling there, and he is dressed in leather pants and a leather jerkin. A lot of druids tend to go for the robe, classical hippie style, but no, this guy looks like if he was running through a forest with a lot of briars and stuff, what he's wearing would prevent him from getting snagged on a lot of stuff. But he's kind of got longer hair, slightly graying, and give me a perception check, Lyra.
Perception. That is a 14.
You see sitting on his shoulder a frog.
Introduce ourselves, sir. Just...
Yeah. Oh, I'm trailblazing. I'm sketching and looking and going. I probably see him, but the depth perception, because I'm so fascinated by the plants, I probably bump into him on accident.
Okay.
I'm so fascinated.
You are about to bump into him, and he just steps to one side. He has been aware of your presence, but he's been focused on whatever he's doing. And you see with the shrine, he's finishing making the daily offering.
I gotcha. Oh, hi. My goodness. Hello. I'm so sorry. I almost ran into you. Everything is so pretty here. I had to sketch it. It's just, oh my goodness. Hi.
Hi there.
I'm Lyra. Who are you?
I'm Theron. This is Loris.
Theron and Loris.
Can I help you?
So, we're new to the town, obviously, probably. And I'm a druid. I just wanted to come and see the greenery. I'm not big on the water. Sorry if that offends. And I was just. Do you need help with anything? Can I collect clippings? Oh my gosh, it's so nice to be here.
You're awfully enthusiastic, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay. I have things under control. But if you really want to do something, I could probably figure something out. What do you think, Loris? Oh, that's a good idea.
Did the frog say anything? I whisper this to Ivar, thinking that Ivar might be able to understand whether the frog spoke.
It just made a croak.
Okay.
It was like, "Rawr."
It's obvious they have their own form of communication. It's a beautiful thing, really. It's amazing.
Yes, people who are lonely in the woods often end up speaking to frogs.
People who are enlightened know how to listen to frogs.
It's a frog.
Okay, well,
It is more than
I'm
just
done
a
with you two.
frog. He is my friend. He is my confidant. And he's probably a better magician than most of you.
Really?
That's fair. I
No,
don't
I'm
use
making
magic.
that last part up. I'm trying to make him sound more impressive.
Oh.
I think he's
But he
plenty
is more
impressive.
than just the average frog.
Oh,
The
how
average
so?
frog.
Ribbit. I couldn't put it better myself. Do the rest of you need anything? Or are you just as
I
enthusiastic?
am
as
much
her?
like my companion Lyra here to offer my services, and perhaps I can commune with the nature here in your small little segment of heaven among nature.
Okay.
I'm not as enthusiastic. I just want to talk to the creatures.
Oh, well, you're one of those. Yeah, yeah. There are
I
not
don't
many
know what
creatures
that means.
living
I don't know what that
in
means.
my little woods here. There are a few birds. There is a fox family, but
Say less.
most
I
of them
will-
trying to come from Dreadwood tend to get eaten in the swamp before they get here.
That's sad, but the way nature works,
It is the cycle of life. Okay, y'all are picking up. This guy is a bit of a downer.
Yeah.
Really? Thoreau's just been like playing the strumming the chords of a funeral march through most
Yeah.
of this conversation.
It is
so-
absolutely fitting. He is like the antithesis of Lyra. So it's really interesting energy happening here. He's not trying to chase you out. He's not trying to make you feel unwelcome. He just, it clearly is a druid because he doesn't like people.
Well, is there anything particular that we do to pay homage to the guardian of the grove?
You can pray at the altar. That's what most people do.
Which particular god might we be dealing with here?
Any of the nature gods that suit you, any of the non-nature gods that suit you. Here, we're part of the natural world. Gods are part of the natural world. So whatever floats your boat.
There are a lot of them, is basically what he said. Whatever you want.
Yeah, this is a non-denominational church.
Oh,
And like, look,
because there are a lot of sailors
Very
coming through,
progressive.
and while most of them do worship Procan, and there is a small temple to Procan here, there are so many different ones, but sailors are a superstitious lot, so this guy's kind of like the Romans. Whatever god you have, as long as you respect the others, you're welcome here.
You see, he kind of like Sarah kind of pulls aside his hair more and his vestments. And you see just like a necklace of like several gods, like iconography across his neck. And in doing so, he like takes off his necklace, wraps around his hand, and like goes to the altar. There's a lot of them.
Just in my experience, I always learned that the gods were very jealous. Is it safe to pray to multiple gods at once?
Each, as long as it's to different domains and to each one having their own place in the natural cycle of things.
Yeah.
Don't want to cross over paths, but sometimes one of them is in a mood and the other one isn't. It's kind of a bag of fish.
I don't
and the fact
understand that reference.
Let's face it, Saltmarsh is not exactly the thriving metropolis at the center of the world. So the chances of you actually getting through to multiple deities at once is slim.
Gotcha.
Above the board question for Rob. Are there any gods that because Thoreau is not religious in any sense of the word, that speak to like heralding of transformations or like
minds, magic, florist,
mind,
good poetry, love, neutral, evil, forthrightness, good humor, rivers, fate. There's Istus, who is fate.
Ooh, okay.
Woken, who is physical and mental mastery.
Oh, that one might be it. So kind of going through the very short Rolodex of knowledge about the gods in his head, Thoreau will go up and offer a song in prayer to whichever god hits him first in his mind for this.
Okay. Zuoken, like I said, is physical and mental mastery. His symbol is a striking fist.
Interesting. So with that in mind and knowing the symbol, Thoreau plays something that is like somewhat militaristic, aggressive, but determined.
Okay. Roll me a percentile dice.
Oh, okay.
And say high or low, basically, which end is the good end.
We'll say high is good.
Okay, you roll a 99 or 100, something happens.
It's not far off. It was 87.
You get no response, but you get no negative response. So, you do your thing.
Which is the sorry, go ahead, didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you go ahead.
Actually, which one was the forest or nature god?
There are several.
It's a thing.
Let me look. Sun, Earth Mother. Lyra Biori would be a good one for you to know. That's the Earth Mother, Mother Earth.
Can you spell that for me?
Beory.
Okay.
Thoreau has already forgotten what god they prayed to, and that's fine.
For you, Ivar, Elona is the goddess of forests.
Ilona?
EH.
Okay.
She's known to the elves. Her symbol is a unicorn or a unicorn sword. Elves really like her, but sometimes she is depicted as a human as well as an elf.
Gotcha. Yeah,
I'm glad I downloaded that document.
Yeah. Is there like an alms tray or anything?
There's in front of the altar. There's a couple of little bowls where people have left stuff, like flowers and things. Kind of like if you've ever played Skyrim.
Yeah, Lyra, I don't know. I know the druids don't always like metal, but would this gentleman appreciate a tithe?
This gentleman can hear you, and yes, he would absolutely appreciate it. This card doesn't pay for itself.
Thoreau throws a silver in one of the alms trays.
Thank you. If you're really, really wanting to do something.
Oh, I am. What do you have?
It's been a while since the standing stones have been cleaned.
Why do I feel like it's more of a punishment? But okay.
Why has it been so
exactly
long?
does that entail?
Well, basically he explains that that little semi-island that they're in the process of building a bridge to, they're on that, so it's not easy to get to. You kind of gotta climb down, swim across a very short distance, or ford your way across, and then climb up a steep hill. It's not quite a sheer cliff face. It's at an angle, but it's one that takes some effort to get to, and without rolling an ankle or doing something like that. Now, once the bridge is built, it's going to be a piece of cake. But that construction has not happened yet. So it's more that, cleaning stones is not exactly the most exciting thing. And given its difficulty to get to, it's kind of done like they're basically doing it once a year versus once a month, or maintaining it, that kind of thing.
Sure.
You don't have to, but, if you want to do something. It does have a lovely outlook over the ocean. Pardon?
Thoreau heard you don't have to. Oh, that's good.
It's a lovely overlook of the ocean. Truly, the sight is impressive to behold, but naturally, the forest here, we're good. Me and Laris managed to keep up. That and the foxes help sometimes.
We can lend a hand, right, Lyra?
I would love to.
Yeah. Sarah?
Stones it is.
Thoreau? Why don't you join us?
I will write it in the journal and let you know how I feel about it tomorrow.
We'll help out just to pay our respects to nature. Are there any tools that we need, or?
Well, something to scrub with. You probably want to bring some buckets to get water, and you'll want a rope so you can lower it down into the ocean and pull it back up.
Oh, we have to find our own supplies. Oh, okay. That's very
honestly, it's a pain in the ass to do.
It sounds like it now that I'm getting more information.
You don't have to, but a misenthusiasm over here. Honestly, it would be a help, but I do it because I have to. I've got another 3 months before it's up on the calendar, but if you do it, then I won't have to. So, whatever you want to do.
Well, I'm willing to do it.
Who resides in the little hut that we passed on our way up here? Would there be any buckets or scrubbing tools or anything we could find over there?
They're my buckets.
I was gonna say, I think that's his.
Yeah, I kind of need it for here, and no offense, I don't know you, so how do I know you won't take my bucket and not come back?
Yes, Lyra, buckets are quite valuable. There's a thievery of buckets happening constantly.
There is. There is. Truly.
I don't
so
know
many of
whether
them
you're a
go missing
smart
since.
ass, but I like you.
Oh, I'm not smart enough to be an ass, but there you go.
Oh, I definitely like you. I don't want to hang out with you, but I like you.
Hey,
You seem to have a clear outlook on the world,
We,
sir, and I respect that.
I think we're seeing things the same way.
Anybody else want to talk about anything else with Baron or with Loris?
I mean, look at the time.
No, I think
Sarah, go ahead.
We'll perhaps find the appropriate supplies and see if we can help.
Alrighty. Sir, you finish your prayers, and y'all decide to head on out.
Each god had their own prayer. There's 6 of them here. It took me a minute. This is how this goes.
Covered, so.
At my circle, this is how it goes.
Okay. And y'all get back on the road, and it kind of curves around. There's a small river to your right. It's not very far down, so it's not like you're on an incline reaching it. Where the grove is actually kind of slightly raised up, and then beyond it, there's a bigger hill where the land starts to rise. And so this road, you look to your right as you come out, tends to run parallel to the river, but heads off into the swamp. So if you're going swamping, this is the way you would go. And y'all walk along the road. It's a pleasant day out. You see a few people working. As you head down towards the bridge to go to the market, you do pass off to your left what is clearly a tavern, based on the sign hanging out in front of it that has a thatched goat hanging from it. It's actually wicker, and it looks like a goat, except in its hand, one of its paws, it's holding up a mug.
Impressive without opposable thumbs.
And
And
the little slit on the hoof, that's it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what they use.
yeah, it's and the arm that's holding the thing is bent completely unnaturally. The thing's a little horrific to look at, but also actually impressive that they were able to wicker this together so that it doesn't just fall off or counterbalance the thing. So as a piece of art, it's horrible. Technically, though, it's actually pretty good. And this place is weathered. It hasn't been painted probably in a decade or more. So it's kind of, the whitewash has faded. It's old planks and wood. Doesn't look like it was built from ships like the other place is. But it's definitely seen its wear and tear. And you continue on, and there is a stone bridge in front of you, and on either side of it, there are, for lack of a better word, houses and little shops that are, it's kind of that medieval bridge where the bridge was yay wide, but the passageway is actually about that wide because of the things that are clinging to it, and they're kind of hanging off the side. So there. Y'all start to walk over it. Is anybody of elven descent or half-elf?
Half-elven.
Am I half elf?
You're a full elf,
Yeah,
I
I'm a
think.
wood elf. I'm a wood elf.
Yeah. As y'all walk out on this bridge, something kind of starts tickling in the back of your mind. It's kind of like a mix of the sensation of being watched, as well as, Ivar, you've been a hunter, and sometimes the prey hunts you, and it feels like that. Thoreau, it's a pit in your stomach. It's like the first time you performed, that unease you felt before you went out, of knowing how is this going to be perceived. It's not overwhelming, but there is a slight sense of dread there.
I'll, as discreetly as I can, call attention to this, or let the rest of the group know that having this uneasy feeling that we're being watched, we're being stalked.
And Thoreau, your sense of this is dread, but not that. And Lyra and Sarah, you have no idea what he's talking about.
Is there anything? Is there something magical about this? Like that I sense some kind of magic or anything happening on this bridge?
Give me a Arcana check.
Ooh, this would go well. Okay.
And Ivar, you could do that as well with disadvantage.
It's a 14.
It didn't come out. 12.
Okay. You have no idea where this is coming from, other than the bridge. There's something about the bridge, but you can't identify it.
And I send Mayhem to fly over the bridge up high enough to where they're not too close, but just to see if they see anything either underneath the bridge or on the other side that would cause alarm.
Yep.
It's just a bridge. I don't understand where our current problem is.
It feels really weird.
Ivor and Thoreau, give me perception or insight checks. Actually, give me perception checks.
Oh.
Perception.
Eric, are you feeling what they're feeling? I think we're fine. It's okay.
It's a bridge. Stone
That
moss
is 19.
over some water.
Ooh.
Yeah.
18 on the dice plus a 20, not natural 20.
Okay, dirty 20, and a 19. You realize a couple of things. This bridge is old. It's really old. All the stuff built off of it is new, but it's old. But it doesn't have ruts worn in it, like you would expect if something that was like, okay, this has been for millennia and people are always walking over it or carts are going over it. You would expect some wear. It's flat. And the seams are actually, it's a stone bridge, but the seams are actually, it looks like it's one solid piece. So you realize that this bridge predated Saltmarsh by several millennia.
So it's an elven bridge.
Yes.
Not one that's in use.
Look, so what this is, Sarek, is that this is when your ancestors are looking at you and judging your behavior. That's what's happening right now.
Should I punch the bridge?
No, don't punch your ancestors.
Punch
that
the
only makes them
bridge.
madder.
Listen. If someone judges, I don't know about your culture. I don't know where you're from. In my culture and where I'm from, if you judge someone, you better have a damn good reason for it and bring it up to them.
Look, nothing.
You judge people, and then you handle it.
There is
So my
nothing as strong
ancestors-
as the guilt of an elvish mother.
Oh, listen, I don't have an elvish mother.
Okay, that is now canon.
That's true.
Are we
Star
comparing?
You never
Wars.
write, you never call.
That's fair. You know what? You should do that, though. You should write and you should call your parents.
Yes.
You should always talk to your parents. Listen, though. Listen. Listen, my ancestors are judging me. They can judge me all they want. I don't care. I give them the respect that they deserve.
But
They should do the same to me. If they're spirits that are judging me, that they died. That sucks. But they died.
Well,
Their
we'll just
judgmental of me now means nothing.
respect them and traipse off the bridge to the market.
Okay. And you realize that the reason you didn't really kind of pick up on the elven identifiers are because these houses are built over. You think that if you saw like the walls on it, the guardrails, that you would see the fine elven filigree. But that's why it didn't register when you first went in. So you traipse over the bridge, and Also, with your dirty 20 and your 19, for the first time, you realize once you're over the bridge, the way the winds are coming in from the east, you don't actually smell fish.
Blessings.
And you can see here that there are mid-sized houses, and you can kind of see in the distance a couple of larger ones. So this is the nice, quote-unquote, part of town. And you head to the left, and you end up in the Green Market, and which is called the Green Market, and it's locals where they sell stuff other than fish. So it's like the field you saw. There's someone here selling gourds and fresh corn. There's actually someone with 2 goats for sale. And there's a donkey. So it's the first pack animal that you've seen. And there's little knickknacks and things that people have knitted for themselves or handcrafted jewelry. Think Ren Fair.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Is there anything y'all are looking for in particular, or you just kind of browse and stuff?
I guess Ivar and I are looking for buckets and scrubbing.
I'm gonna look for a shovel.
Okay. There is someone who has like gardening tools, but they're more the hands, trowels and stuff like that. Well, hey there! You're looking for a shovel?
I'm looking for a shovel. I need a hand
real
trowel. I
shovel?
need a shovel. I need 2 of them.
Okay, you want to go to the smith for that. I only do like your gardening, fine tools. If you want something like that, you got to go to the smith. They can take care of you. They have shovels and hammers and pickaxes, all kinds of things for mining and tilling the earth. That's the place you want to go.
Great. Can you point me in the direction of the smith?
The smith? Yes. It's called the Dwarven Anvil.
The Dwarven Anvil. Okay. All right.
And you'll know it when you see it because there are not dwarves there.
Wait, what?
It's called the Dwarven Anvil, but it's owned by humans.
There's
And
a
that
song
is-
in that somewhere.
And that is on the far, far north of the town. So if you
Oh.
go across the bridge and take a right and follow the main road all the way around, and at one point it bends and kind of heads up the cliff, that's where you want to go. It's kind of on a high point. You'll be able to see from the smoke from the forge.
Why are they lying?
Well, it's not that they're lying. It's that at one point it was owned by dwarves, but they sold it and moved away, and it was bought by humans.
There's a lot of things in this town where humans are like taking over things and like
I'm seeing a
remaking them in
pattern.
their image. Yes.
I'm seeing a pattern.
Well, it's this. Actually, this is human lands, and we're getting more of your kind here.
Are they human lands?
Our
Yes,
kind.
yes, they are
Looks-
because of the
Looks
the
at
sea.
Thora. Good
But
gentleman.
we are getting, we have gotten some elves and some halflings who have moved in
You
from
mean move back in?
the Dreadwood. Even though there are efforts to reclaim that, it's some people it's just too much. So there is some non-human presence, but it's mostly human.
To people.
Yes.
Okay.
It's
You
just
could have just said people.
lovely when short-lived species think that they discover things that were already here.
Here.
I feel like I've been insulted in some way, so I'm going to go. And he just
Sarah, give me a perception check.
You got it. Solid 14.
Okay. Looking the green market is kind of on the edge of the water here.
Yeah.
And there's a little dip. If you're looking at your map, the green market is number 9. And looking across the slight dip of the bay, you see this building that is built out over the water on stilts. And you recognize the architecture that this is the Temple of Procan that you heard about.
Oh, hell yeah.
So it's right there if you want to go see it.
Well, I'll wait for everyone else. They're doing their shopping.
Oh, no, Sarek. I had money to spend, but I don't think that the elvish funds are very welcomed here, so I'm happy to go with you to the temple if that's interesting to you.
It's just to pay respects. Again, sort of a cultural thing at this point for me. People said I'm a cleric, and I'm not. I don't know why they would say that.
You do pray to 6 gods.
Yeah, well, maybe something like that. I don't know. We'll find out later. And he's just gonna wait for everyone else. Just kind of like at the edge of the market, like Thoreau said. I don't know if my money is actually worth anything here.
Wow,
he's just gonna hang out.
Thoreau sets up next to Sarek, like puts a bucket out, not a bucket, a hat out, and is just playing while everyone else is shopping to see if there's any busking happening
Give
in
me
the market.
a performance check.
Like as he's doing that, can I give him the help action with my pan flute? Is that like a thing I can do?
Absolutely. So roll that performance with advantage.
Advantage got me a natural 20, which takes my performance to a 27.
I'm in.
Okay, once again, these people clearly have not had an outside performer here in some time.
Yes, because it's elvish music. It's beautiful.
And once again, you basically shut down the market.
Perfect.
But the people selling don't care because they're enthralled by the music too. They're basically getting a free concert for this. So yeah, they are into it. People from the bridge who can kind of hear the fainted come over. So you get a decent sized crowd in front of you. And you, with Sarek, obviously not nearly as skilled as you, but he's kind of playing, he's basically doing the bass line. And you're riffing off of that. So you're kind of doing some fun jazz stuff.
And it's an old, Ivar might recognize it. It's an old melody to the moon that my mother taught me.
Roll me a D12 and a D20.
It's an old song.
It's an old, yeah, it's older. It's like the bridge. Old. Elvish.
And now I'm in Hades Town.
Yes.
It's an old song.
You said a D12 and a D20?
Yes.
That is a 19 on a D20 and a 10 on the D12.
You get 10 silver and 19 copper.
Fantastic.
It's a very old song. It's an old song.
And it is getting close. You also get a half bushel of clams, a couple of cabbages, some eggs, because not everybody has specie. So you get some goods in trade.
Okay. Clams, cabbages,
eggs, half bushel of
eggs.
clams, couple of cabbages, and half a dozen eggs.
Where's my inventory? Okay, here we go. I know what we're having for dinner tonight, all.
Cabbage, clams, and eggs.
Mm-hmm.
Lyra, while you were shopping, you actually found there's a little old woman completely playing into the hag stereotype, even though she is not one. She has some different plants that came out of the swamp, and of course she's harping up on the, yes, you can cure sickness, make your salves, but there actually are a couple of plants in there that you think might have some interesting properties. So if you want to mark off a couple of copper, you can put swamp ingredients, for lack of a better term.
Okay.
Swamp ingredients.
Yep. You wrap up. Basically, it'd be really good for making poisons. I'm
enthusiastic but deadly, y'all.
Yep.
Love it.
And there's one of them
Dangerous combination.
that could be used if you were trying to brew a potion of command or suggestion. One of those has a slightly narcotic effect that would be useful for that. You don't have the other ingredients for that, but this is something that would allow you to make something along those lines.
Awesome.
So you wrap your performance, massive applause,
At
congratulation of the crowds.
the tail end of the performance, I do shout out for everyone to hear that if you liked that, just make sure you're at Gellin Prime Water's next foray, because we'll be doing a live performance there for everyone to hear.
What have you done?
It's people are into it, and you wrap up and people go back to their business, and the people who were selling don't mind because A, they were entertained, but B, you have gathered a larger crowd than was here, so they're making up for the lost sales with volume now. So you haven't cost any of these people part of their livelihood by any means.
Sarek, that's what they call a pop-up advertisement.
Thank you. Did not know what you were doing.
Do you head to the Temple of Procan?
Oh, yeah. As soon as everyone else is done.
Did Ivar and I find buckets and/or cleaning tools?
Yes.
To go with my poisonous ingredients.
Yeah, mark off 5 copper, and you have 2 buckets and 50 feet of rope, which would be more than enough. You could cut it in half to be able to lower down into the water so that you could fill and lift both buckets.
Okay.
Nice. Can I just say really quickly, can I look for seeing Lyra buying her her specialized ingredients from the swamp? I've got a little bit of a background in alchemy. I wouldn't mind getting my hands dirty with Lyra. Can I get
we're gonna be good friends.
Yeah. Can I get like an alchemy supply kit at this
No, but the person who you're selling is like, oh, you need a real merchant for that. You could go to the Quartermasters of Euse, or you could go to which one is it? Winston's store.
Later today, right?
Yeah, Winston's are the Quartermasters, and Quartermasters is actually right across the street from the Temple of Procan.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you. We appreciate you giving us directions. And Quartermaster, just gotta write it down.
Well, as we're heading that way, Ivar, I can be like sidled up next to you, going, "Okay, so I got this ingredient. It could do this. And I got this ingredient. And we're gonna put this with this one, and we're gonna."
That one cures warts. I know for sure. Don't ask me how, but I know.
Did you know that how you get warts is a frog pees on you?
Did anyone get peed on in the grove?
I was gonna say, do you think
That's
the
a
guy
myth that I won't let people perpetuate.
I don't think that man
Frog
got
pee.
warts from the frog peeing on him.
On that note, we make it to the temple. Everybody can give me a religion check.
Oh God. Okay.
Religion.
Religion?
I think
I
I've
have-
got nothing.
Sarek, you get advantage on this.
I had.
Oh, okay.
Is that intelligence?
Just-
I have nothing for religion.
Okay.
That'll be a grand total of 18.
That
Okay.
is a 3.
Rolled a 19 on religion.
Hey.
Lyra?
I got a 10.
Okay.
Makes sense. 3.
Yeah. Thoreau could give a rat's ass,
Mhm.
and he is
That's
fresh out of rat. Sarek, you know this from worshiping Procan and Ivar because of the nature. Procan is a fickle god. He is chaotic neutral. Basically, he is sea and weather the way that you can have a storm blow up like you did. But he's also the god that gives you fair winds. He'll drown sailors, but he'll also have dolphins come and save some. So he's very chaotic. You never know what you're going to get with him. Also, his power ends at the shoreline, which is why this temple is built out over the water, so that it actually is in his domain. And he's one of those sailors will, when they go to to sea on a voyage will like pour a shot of rum over the side as an offering to him to try and get his favor. He loves fine food. He loves alcohol. He loves valuable treasure.
Ooh.
So, yeah, and if you're gonna plunder a sea wreck, you need to be sure to give him an adequate offering, because he can be vengeance. He's the reason sharks will circle sunken ships to discourage people from taking what is rightfully his.
Mm.
And you go into the temple, and it's very, very basic. Basically, there are several rows of benches. There's a little... it's kind of like that little podium that you use in high schools, where it's just the stick that sticks up with a little thing on top of it. It's kind of wobbly. There's one of those at the front. And you see a guy in there who is colorful, shall we say. He is... he's got all kinds of blues and greens, and but then you'll get a bright red. He's kind of a patchwork. It's not quite the Technicolor Dream Coat, but it's obvious that he has chosen each specific item because he likes it, without thinking of how it goes with the whole.
Fair enough. Just walk. I'll walk up to the.
Well, what do we have here? We have some new worshipers. Welcome. You are obviously a man of the sea. Welcome to the domain of Procan.
Right. Yes.
I feel like we're in our brother work.
Oh, God.
I am Welgar Brian-handed, and I am your humble cleric today. What can I do for you?
Nice to meet you, Welgar. So, I had a quick question in regards to the swamp.
Yes.
Okay. So
you do realize Procan ends at the edge of the shore, and rivers are not his domain.
Yes.
Okay. That's the way. I will answer what I can, but I make no promises.
No, I understand that. I'm more looking for local lore. I've heard of a rumor of possibly a sea hag being in those swamps.
You know, I heard the same thing, and that just did not make any sense to me. Now, sea hag, it's in the name, sea hag. So what she would be doing? Only thing I can think of is that maybe she got blown up during a storm and one of the floods that happened when the hurricane came through, and she just can't find her way back, or maybe she just likes swamps. There are people like that. I don't get it personally, but. Or maybe she's a swamp hag and not a sea hag, and people are just using the wrong name.
Swamp hags? Yeah.
Maybe that's just how that goes. But I was wondering if you knew if she, if anyone had seen sight of her as of recent.
Well, you would have to go to inland, in the swamp, to one of the swamp communities. They could probably help you better.
Swamp
Okay. All right. That's fair. I didn't know there were actual communities out there.
Now, if you go up the Kingfisher River, probably about a good dozen miles, there is a small town. I don't mean to speak ill of people, but they've got a real small breeding pool, if you know what I mean. So they're not the sharpest people in the world, but they are fine folks. Wow. They're and they manage to survive in the swamp. I know I couldn't.
People
I couldn't have fresh fish every
hometowns.
day. God knows.
Hey, thank you so much for the information, though. I'll be sure to whenever we can. I'll be sure to get back that way. I'd like to see if the sea hag is real, and if she is, well, I might just bring a vial of blood as an offering.
That would be interesting. Locks of her hair also would be good.
Yes.
I know we do have services here. Now we do require a donation, but if in the course of interacting with the sea hag, one of you were to come to an untimely demise, we do offer services for shall we say, returning you to the land of the living before your time is due. It is not cheap. I will be honest. You would basically sponsor us for an entire year if you were to use that, but we do offer services up to that point, including that point. So if you need anything, contract any kind of diseases or anything like that while you're in town or in the swamp, just, come here. I will lay on hands. We'll pray to Procan, and we will see you put back right.
Is contracting a disease a common thing around here?
Well, it can happen for a variety of reasons. Swamp water, not the best thing for you.
No.
So tend to get more parasites than diseases per se, but things do happen, and well, sailors are sailors. There's not any really one of those type of clientele here in town, but we do get people in from other ports who have discovered that error of their ways once they have gotten away from town and into voyage. So we do offer services.
Make lots of potions. Got it. Okay.
You make potions. You make potions. If you make any kind of healing potion or cure disease or anything like that, bring them here. I will buy them from you.
Sounds like a great plan. I love that. Okay, great. Good to know.
Are there any specific diseases we need to try to inoculate ourselves against while we're out there? Or
well, I would not drink the swamp water. So if you are going into the swamp looking for said sea witch, I would be sure to take a good supply with you. Now, there are pools of good water in there, and if you have one of those skill sets that can purify water, you have nothing to worry about. But it's like people who are stranded in the sea and get real thirsty and they'll start drinking salt water because it's water, but then you just makes them sicker.
It makes them crazy.
Like exactly. So it's like that. Now, like I said, every now and then you will find a clear pool. Basically, if you can see, say, if you're standing in so that the water's above your head and you can see all the way to your feet, you're probably okay. But anything darker or muddier than that, I would not risk it.
Just to clarify, before I drink the water, I need to be standing in it?
Well, what I'm saying is any kind of murky water you want to stay away from. But if something is a nice, clear, clean pool, there are sources of aquifers in there. So if you're close enough to the source, you should be fine to drink it. But you want to make sure of that.
Thank you.
You can also try boiling it.
Well, I always boil my water personally, but
that is a smart man right there. You obviously know how to comport yourself in the woods.
Parasite free this entire time.
You think?
Glad to say it.
Praise Procan.
Praise Procan.
Praise.
Anything else I can do for y'all?
Oh, thank you very much for that. And he just kind of bows that.
Right. If y'all want to come to service, we do a sunrise and a sunset. Praise the ships, before the ships go. Well, actually, it's right before sunrise so that sailors can get to their ships. And same thing when they come back in to thank for a good catch or good day, that kind of thing. So we do have morning service and we do have evening service.
Okay. So I do have a question.
Yes, sir.
How does Procan seem to feel about all of these ships being underneath only one person?
Well, as long as they're right respectful and offer their proper offerings, he's not that discerning.
Okay.
Because all the ships are crewed by good, fine sailors. As long as you have ones that respect the sea and make the proper tithings to him, he's good. And if somebody gets uppity and doesn't do that, well,
it's just a bad time.
What happened to the Dasses will happen to you.
What?
The Dasses. There was a local captain, Captain Dass.
Okay.
He was very large gentleman, but he got greedy and overfilled his boat, and the store blew up, as is wont to do, and she broached, and 3 of her crew members died. It was tragedy. This happened only about a month ago. So he was taking more than was his fair share, and he paid the price for it. Now, of course, he's the only one who survived, so it's kind of
poetic.
well, some people some people don't think it's fair that the others paid for his mistakes, but I think it's appropriate because he has learned from it, and also no one's going to let him on their boat again. So he is suffering. So he is going to pay for his sins.
Yeah, he's landlocked now. He can't do much else.
Exactly. He is no longer welcome in Procan's bounty.
He made that choice himself.
Don't get greedy.
Don't
Pay
do
your
it.
respects. Everything will be fine.
Just pour some rum.
Exactly.
It's not that hard. Just take some extra with you. I have some right here in my belt for that reason. Put it aside.
One for him, one for you. One for him, one for you.
This man Procans. And then I'm just gonna walk out.
No.
All right, and it's probably about 1 p.m. at this point. It's not time yet for the council meeting, but it's getting close. So if you did want to go to the quartermasters, you could do that real quick, but you wouldn't be able to spend a lot of time there, or you could go to the meeting and come back later.
The quartermaster of Ews, right? Like, they're evil. Do we want to go there and spend our money with the evil people?
I mean, probably not, honestly.
He did. The person did mention that there is another merchant in town, Wilson.
Yes.
Winston store. So, you could always go there first, and if they don't have what you need, then potentially go there, or you could stop in while you're there, see what they have and what they charge for it, and whatever y'all want to do.
I think we should head on towards the council meeting. I think that was
let's do the council
something.
meeting and then
Figure out our next steps from there.
We might be able to find some work that might get us onto a ship or get us a lead onto a ship.
All right, y'all head on over. Council Hall on the map is Building 14. You pass the Wicker Goat on your way there. Off to your right are the ship chandlers and warehouses where the Sea Witch has been restocking from. And you see this building, and it's a bit unusual in that about waist high is stone. And because you recognized earlier, it's that same elven work. So it's the frame, the outline of this building was obviously something else far long ago, and they built up on it to make this building. And then, so it's stone, and then it's brick, actually. And then you have a wooden roof. But it's the only building of its type here. Obviously, they put a lot of money and time into it to try and make it something special. So you can't miss it.
Is there like a general audience chamber where they can watch the council meeting, or how does that work?
Well, there's a set of double doors in the front. So one of which is slightly ajar. You've seen, as you've been walking up, you've seen 1 or 2 people go in. So it's obviously open for business if you want to go in.
Make our way up there?
All right, let's take a 5-minute break, and then we will go to the council meeting.
All right. Thank you, 5.
Gracias, Cinco.
Gracias.
My note for Welgar was Slim Pickens / Deep South.
Fair enough.
Slim Pickens.
Fair enough. By the way,
brother, where art thou?
Courtney, I saw you almost lose it one time.
I straight up during this whole thing, as these two over here are being like, oh no, we can do alchemy and we can make stuff together and all this. And then me and Josh are over here playing music. I'm just like, cool. So they're gonna make the drugs, and then they're gonna pass it out. And then we're going to play the music, and we're just going to have our own concert stream. They're going to come find us from the school, and we're going to be like, I don't know what you expected.
So you're going to throw a rave, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
And we're back. So you go up, and the door, one of the double doors, is kind of propped open a little bit, basically to give it some airflow. It's nice out. It's like low 70s. Kind of thing. Ooh. So it's it's really comfortable. Nights are getting a little chilly, but it's not near winter yet. This is probably as cold as it gets in this region. And there have been days that were super hot, so it's kind of like our weather. Have all seasons in 1 week.
Oh, geez.
Yep. So we're back. The four of you walk up, including your Stoat and your Drake, and you go through the door, and it's the central part is a big empty space. Think Viking Meat Hall. Now, there's some doors off to either side, and if you look at the map, you can see that there's one big main section and two little side things with miniature courtyards. But the meeting hall for meeting is this one big-ass room. And at one end, there is about a 2-foot-high stage, and there are table on it, a couple of tables on it, and there are 5 people sitting there. And meeting has not started yet, but it's getting close. And rooms, probably 10 or 15 people are in here that have business in front of the council or want something. There's also a 6th guy up on the stage who's kind of standing back, but he's not one of the 5 council members. So anybody who wants can give me a perception check.
I'll do it.
So 20.
13.
Alrighty. Also give me insight checks.
Oh, no.
I rolled the same thing. What is my insight? Also a 20.
22.
Wow. A 13.
Okay. What you see are 5 people sitting across the front of the stage. Stage right is an older woman, short-cut, white hair, rough features, obviously has spent a lot of her life outdoors, older. She's sitting at one end. She's wearing nice clothes that are very simple. It's like take a fisherman and dress them in really, really fine fabrics that are well made. But it's that kind of trouser, that kind of loose puffy shirt. It's something that's really nice stuff, but is clearly this woman used to work, but has some money. The next person is, the English would describe him as a ponce. You can, with Josh, with your 20 insight, this has got to be Gallon Prime water. He has rings on all of his fingers. He's got jewelry. He's got perfectly coiffed hair, a little bit of salt and pepper going on at the temples. Really, really nice clothes. He's got a silk shirt on. Everything is expensive colors. Like it's a maroon wine purplish color, fine leather, black leather trousers, really, really nice boots. Guy in the middle is a young guy, surprisingly. And he also is dressed in really nice clothing, kind of a merchant class, but once again, really, really nice fabric. So you can see that the 3 of these people obviously have money. Continuing on towards stage left, there is a large man, and he is dressed in chainmail. He's got a badge of office on. Definitely knows how to handle a blade. And he's bald and a little bit of a tan, so he's obviously been out in the field. And at the very end, propped up on a stool, is a dwarf. And copper hair, her beard is really intricately woven. Josh, with your insight, you pick up on some things. The dwarf, while she's got this really nice copper, there are little flecks of black in it. And you can kind of pick up that her hands, there's dirt under the fingernails. You've heard talk about the dwarven miners, and this clearly is someone who works in a mine, but is an authority figure. You also notice that her and the other woman are seated on as far away from each other as possible. And you can tell that there is definite tension between them. And the way it kind of feels is like they are the extreme ends, sitting on the extreme ends. Next to them is someone with whom they have alignment or some degree of connection. And then in the middle is somebody who could go either way. You see him kind of talking to one side, you'll see him talking to the other. They're pleasant with him, each side. So you really get a sense that this is a divided council, and that if you were trying to get something past them, you would have to convince one side and the center guy. And there's a sixth guy standing behind, and he's kind of blended in. He's dressed like a butler. He's a major domo kind of feel. And so you're guessing that this is like the secretary for the council meeting. The guy who, when they say, okay, we're going to do this edict, he's the one that brings the paper around and gets it all signed. That kind of thing. But he is standing, you'll see him come up and talk with the guy in the center, and you can pick up that there's a connection between the two of them. So he probably works for the guy in the middle. It's an interesting mix because you can see different alliances potentially happening. A couple of these people obviously came from working for a living. A couple of them obviously came from money. But there's also, so you can see different dynamics that you could potentially exploit outside of just the guys on the right versus the guys on the left. You may be able to manipulate some alliances that other people might not see the opportunities for by going, okay, you two have a similarity here, let me play up that. In the order, the guy in the middle is speaking. Let this meeting come to order. Scarin, if you would blow the horn. Scarin, who's the Mojidomo guy, makes a gesture to somebody. And a little while later, you hear this horn blow. There's a little tower on top of this thing that you noticed, and it's basically the meeting is called to order. All right, let us get down to business. And they start talking about mundane village crap. And there's things about the needing to procure more salt for the fishery, and you pick up that the woman on the stage right end, the older white-haired woman, she curses like a sailor, speaks like a sailor. She obviously owns one of the sailing fleets. Gellin, who's next to her, obviously owns the merchant ships, so there's some trade talk that they're interested in. And then there's stuff about security and the mines, and what's going on with some of the people outside of town. And one big point of contention is, should they build another gate at the Kingfisher River, basically just past the Grove, to the road to the swamp, so that nobody can get in there, that it's kind of hills on either side, so they could build something there to kind of block the city off. And where's the money going to come from, and lots of stuff like that. They finally get around.
You're muted.
And for the final business of the day, and I see we have some welcome guests that are actually the subject of our discussion. Hello, would you please introduce yourselves? And he gestures to you guys.
Thoreau's fully asleep.
I just clock him on the shoulder.
Did I miss something
You get it from
important?
both sides.
Yes, you're introducing yourselves.
I missed something quite important. Hi, I am Thoreau. A pleasure to meet all of you.
Next.
My name is Ivar. We are students from I forget what it was called.
The Greyhawk School of the Arcane.
Yes, from the Greyhawk School of the Arcade. We've come here sort of as a waypoint before we can make our way back home.
So we gathered. It's the white-haired woman on the end. I talked to the first mate. He said that you're stranded here because of ship thing, that you lost your teacher. So what we're trying to do is figure out whether you're going to be a problem for us or not. Sailors, they come, they go. The ship comes in, the ship goes out. They're transient. Or people move here to work. You are a little bit of an unknown quantity. So are you going to make trouble? Are you the kind of people that make trouble?
I am certainly not the kind of person who makes any kind of trouble. I promise you that.
No trouble. I just want to learn. I'm here to learn. Hi, I'm Lyra.
Hello, Lyra. The other two, are you troublemakers?
No.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
If no one
Now,
starts trouble
having
with
said
me
that,
or
are
mine,
any of you lying? Or what any of you do underhanded stuff like deal with the Thieves Guild, anything like that?
No.
This is
All right.
Rob, the DM, asking.
Thoreau is not currently lying now.
how would I possibly know what a thieves guild is, member? And if they want to tell me
Basically,
something,
she
that they
rolled a 26 on her perception. So if anyone was being duplicitous, you would have to roll a deception check. But if you are being on the up and up, then that is not an issue. Okay,
Let's
good.
be honest.
my
Glad
name
to
is
hear
Sarek
it.
Alderpath, and if anyone else starts shit with us, then they'll get it back in return. But otherwise, no, I have no intention of starting anything.
And the large guy, well, I'm glad to hear that. As being in charge of the city guards, good to know that you're not going to make trouble, other than the usual drunken sailor antics. But just, we're decent, kind folk here. Don't like trouble. So if you feel like you're going to be making some, there are other ways we could steer you. And woman on the end, for once, Ada and I agree on something. Glad to know that you're not here for trouble. What are you going to be doing with yourselves? I understand that you're trying to find passage back out, but it's good for the long oversea voyage.
Trying. Hard to find a ship going that way.
Too true, too true.
In the meantime, we do plan to make ourselves useful around town, if that puts your mind at ease at all.
Yes, if there's any issues or problems, we are well-trained adventurers. We'd be happy to put our work and our knowledge to the use of the town.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. And this is Galen. Because we actually have a proposition for you. There's an old house outside of town that has... Well, there have been reports that it's haunted. And we can't have that. Travelers going past it. We can't risk an attack of wights or ghosts or any kind of undead on any of our travelers. Trade is difficult enough along the road. So, would you be interested in going and checking it out?
Sure.
Oh, yes.
Can I roll an insight check on him?
Yes.
Where did my dice go? Hang on. I might not be able to do that. There we go.
And I'm not quite getting his voice right. He's
Okay.
Dirty 20.
Nice.
dirty 20. What are you trying to discern?
Does he believe that this place is actually haunted? Is he sending us on a wild goose chase?
He could care less.
Okay.
The report has come in. Something needs to be done about it. It's not going to be him.
Okay.
The
The newbie's the fodder. Got it. Okay.
It's if it is, deal with it. If it's not, let us know. We're going to offer you 50 gold in return for dealing with whatever it is. And should this prove to be a fruitful relationship, there are several other things that we might send your way while you're here.
Well, I think that is quite a fair sum for us to prove our worth to you and to earn our keep here while we are in your pleasant town.
Edda and Manistrad both speak up at once, the women on the end, and they're kind of talking to each other. It's like, Galen, it's all nice and good for you to offer 50 gold, but you know we don't have that kind of money in the budget. Is that coming out of your own pocket? Yeah, right. We would like to know that too, because if you've got those funds, why don't you donate them to the town so that we can build that wall? You were just griping about how there's no funds for anything. And he goes, well, yes, right. I could pay for them out of my own, but I was thinking actually of modifying the agreement once they came back to see if they would instead like a private place to stay.
So you were going to
some of the coinage.
Let me go ahead and see if I understand this correctly. You were knowingly going to just, in lieu of payment for our going and handling your problem, knew you were going to go against said agreement in order to levy said
I would
need.
pay you the 50.
But
that
you
would,
just said
but,
in lieu
but
of
you see,
payments.
some of that money is coming from my own pocket. So I would pay you the money if you wanted, or I would pay you the 25 gold up front, and upon completion thereof, in lieu of the other 25, offer you a private home for a month. So, either way, you're getting your value. If you insist on the cash, I will be happy to pay you. And you will then spend it staying at our lovely inn, and the money will circulate back through the economy, and everyone will be happy. But I was also thinking that 50 gold, there's only 4 of you. That when you divide it up, that's really not that much per person. Now, it's all we have, and frankly, I don't believe the house is haunted. You're just going to go in there and find that there's some old cats or something like that, shoo them out, and everyone will be much happier. But, however you want to do it. Regardless, we had this job proposition for you, and you've already expressed interest in it, so...
Team huddle?
Oh, one moment.
Yeah.
Just turn.
I mean, the rooms at the hotel did seem kind of small for you, Sarek. It would be nice to have our own space.
Certainly, yeah.
I agree.
We also gather some more intel on what's going on while we're here, and I think that would be a great place to do it.
We could have like a wall where we put all of our information up and then connect the dots.
Swear to God, if you say by using red string.
I have silver string.
I was gonna
You know
offer
What?
It could be blue string.
What were you going to say, Lyra?
I could offer up vines. We could just vine it out.
We have options.
You got to do it for the vine every now and then. I say I'm in. I just don't like the cut of his jib, because he was very okay with, as he just said, not telling us that part until she brought it up.
I do agree that maybe some deception.
There was.
But we could use it to our advantage. We have to make some allies while we're here.
Oh, I'm not saying that we don't turn it down or we turn away the allyship. I'm just saying we utilize it for our own needs rather than being the kindness out of our own hearts.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Really, what else are we doing?
Also, Throw, that's your man, right? Like, that's the guy you were talking about earlier.
The fancy dressed gentleman.
Yeah, him. You were talking about us
Talking
going
about the party.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yes, of course. Yes, absolutely.
You all right?
I just am coming out of the sleep. It's a little odd.
Got it. Okay, no problem.
You all shouldn't have let me fall asleep during the council meeting. That seems very inopportune.
I was watching a grain of sand because it was far more interesting than anything else they were doing.
Oh.
I was kind of making like a sand castle, but with my feet. Anyway, we just turn around. We'll do it.
That is excellent news. And Anders, the guy in the middle, says, Scarin will disperse the 25 gold that we agreed to ahead of time as the advance on the first half of the payment. He will give you directions as to where the house is located. You may gather any supplies you need, and then henceforthwith to deal with the problem.
Absolutely.
What does forthwith mean?
It means as quickly as possible.
Got it. Okay.
And with that, I believe all of our business is complete for the day, unless anybody else has something that they wish to bring to the council's attention. No, good. Glad to see that. We'll see everyone next week. And the meeting is adjourned. And the counselors quickly file out through a side entrance, not deigning to deal with the public. And Scarin, the major domo guy, comes up. Well, I see that you have taken the offer. What can I do for you? And he hands over a small bag of gold.
Well, if you can just, we have this map, Sarek.
If you head southwest out on the road through the main gate and proceed it's about an hour and a half by walk, you will arrive at the house in question. It has been abandoned for about 20 years now. It was once owned by an alchemist of disrepute. We would not allow him to build in the city.
Can I ask, if it's been abandoned for 20 years, why now does this threat of it being haunted suddenly matter?
Well, apparently the ghosts have only appeared recently. There's been sightings of strange sounds coming from the building and mysterious lights moving around inside that have not been there before. It's only in the last 2 months that this has occurred. Now, I will add that the alchemist in question did disappear along with all of his servants about 20 years ago. So there was suspicion of foul play, but no one could find anything.
Was there a chicken?
I do not recall. Okay. I was not here at that time.
What was the alchemist's name, if you could recall?
I do not know off the top of my head. I would have to look it up. Everyone just called him the alchemist.
If he's probably the only one, it's very easy to determine, the alchemist.
Exactly. And it was always phrased with a certain degree of disdain.
The alchemist.
Just like that.
Was it disdain or jealousy?
Disdain.
Oh, okay.
We have our own alchemist. Well, alchemist. And Ivar, are you an alchemist yet?
I dabble a bit. I would call myself proficient, honestly.
I definitely took alchemy classes at Greyhawk. Because I took all of the classes.
How many classes did you take?
I took all of them.
That's
Sarek.
a lot of classes.
I took every class.
So many. Oh my god.
Well, if y'all
I sat behind you in all of those classes too.
Yes, every single one.
I will bear that in mind for the future should we require any kind of love filters or anything like that.
Love filters?
You can give me an insight check.
Oh.
Yeah, please.
Insight. Oh, that's pretty good. 19.
21.
Nice.
All right. That was a bless your heart.
Oh,
With regard to alchemy, he does not. The disdain with which the alchemist was regarded may be universal, or it may just be him. But he does clearly has a dislike or disinterest in alchemy.
well, it seems like it's not too far of a journey out of town. We've got the whole afternoon and evening ahead of us. I don't.
That would make sense because ghosts do tend to come out at night, so coming there in the first of the morning may or may not be productive. So, as the man said, hence forthwith. Do you need any kind of supplies or anything like that? You can hit Winston's store, but he is the opposite way of where you're going.
Is there a.
What supplies do you need to hunt ghosts?
Oh.
I would not know.
I'm not a monster hunter.
Do
so
I?
couldn't tell
Do
you.
I know?
Magic weapons
Magic weapons.
may or may not be required.
Well, I do know that ghosts are typically non-corporeal, and so we would need the ability to actually interact with a being through magic means. Is everyone here blessed with a magic weapon of some kind?
I myself am not. Unless
Oh, is that it? Oh, okay. This be easy
maybe
enough.
Drake constitutes. No, I don't have a magic weapon.
Oh,
Well, to
well,
be fair, Lyra does create magic. Does that just bypass that necessity?
oh, that would be fine. And I believe,
Same thing with you.
I think that I can help take care of it on your end. How long does this spell last? 1
If
hour.
it's
Okay, cool.
If
Yeah,
it's
1 hour.
magic weapon, I already have one, so you're good there.
Well, I can bless Ivar's bow.
Yeah, I was gonna say helping Ivar out.
Yep. I can take care of your bow of Ivar and make you be able to interact and hit any ghostly figures. If it is, of course, ghosts, we are entering this as skeptics, of course.
Obviously, I'm willing to bet it's probably some poor orphans that's taking up refuge in the abandoned house.
and they do not require magic weapons to hit.
We should probably not hit orphans.
I am so glad that I was not drinking something. That was an ace moment of making me do a spit take. So
Ivar is such a good bean. I love him.
No.
is there anything else I can do for y'all?
Not that I can think of.
No, I think you've pointed us in the correct direction. You've handed over the funds. I think we can handle it from here.
I shall let you go then.
Anyone else?
Delightful, man. Delightful.
As we like leave, it's like anyone else sense some general hostility from him, or was that just?
It wasn't hostility so much as that he knows he's better than you.
Oh, patronizing.
Patronizing,
would-
passive aggressive.
Sarek wouldn't know that word, so he's just attributing it to the nearest common word that he can think of, which is hostility.
Yeah, it's yes, it's that blue bloods Southern that they are
Yeah.
polite to everyone,
Yeah.
Mhm.
but there are certain people that they're being polite to because it's what you do for those.
You're the help.
Yeah.
You're the help.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it does strike you, because y'all did have some good insight checks that you would have expected a major domo to be a bit more subservient, perhaps. So, it's kind of an odd thing that in the household he is not. You get the impression that he might not be a servant. It may not be that type of relationship. Not saying that there's anything. It may be like more like a mentor because Anders is so young. So not quite an Alfred and Bruce Wayne, but something more in that direction. And so he is used to comporting himself in such a way where he can speak his mind.
Yeah, sure. Excuse me.
So as we're getting ready to leave town, you all watch as like Thoreau is going through his motions for what he does when he's getting ready for potential like danger. And so he casts mage armor on himself, which takes my AC to 15 for you, Rob. And also you see like the shimmering ward appear around him of his abjurative ward pops up because he casts mage armor. Well, I think as the sun is ready and the path is clear, we can head on towards the mystery.
We're not going to go to the party.
Was the
That's
party
not for another couple of days.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the same night. My bad.
It's y'all.
I did too, actually. So.
They count things in 5 days and 10 days. It's kind of like a week or a fortnight in England.
Okay.
Only that. So you are in that 10-day period. You are on day 3, and he throws parties on day 5.
Got it.
Gotcha.
Party day 5.
Yeah.
Put that in the notes. Party day 5.
Party
Yeah.
day 5.
You better believe I'm putting in the notes. I want to see that concert.
So y'all head out of town. You
Heading
have
to
to cross the bridge once more. Is there any apprehension on Ivor or Thoreau's part?
Oof. Just my throat started acting sort of strange, but
Thoreau is thrown by the feeling and again appearing. And we'll want to see if there's a magical essence to this as we're
Okay,
walking across.
Roll me an Arcana check.
That is a 23.
Okay. This feels like the remnants of a very powerful abjurative spell designed to keep something out.
Since abjuration is my specialty,
Mhm.
can I dive any deeper into figuring out what it's trying to keep out?
No, it feels like an echo.
Okay.
Basically, at one time, a super powerful spell of some kind was cast here with the bridge. And it was so powerful that it seeped into the stonework. And so this is just an echo of that. But it is so old and so far gone that it's lost any coherency other than just this general feeling of malaise. And it seems to only affect elves.
Interesting.
It was some kind of elven magic.
At the entire time we're walking across the bridge, Thoreau is like furiously taking notes on the magic that he's sensing and like the history of the space that he pulled from that.
All right, y'all head over the bridge and hang a right. And as you are going out of town, you notice two houses on opposite sides of the road. They are really nice houses, but they're not mansions. And one of them has a little board out front, kind of like the post office, but basically an identifier. And one says Oland House, and the other says Eleander. And these were two of the Etta Oland was the Selma Diamond, cantankerous fisherwoman, and Eleander was the captain of the guard. So this is on the part of the land where you don't get the fish smell. So they're obviously of means, but have either chosen to live modestly, or they're upper middle class, and this is the height of what they can afford. One or the other. You haven't interacted with them enough to know which is which. And then you reach the main gate, and there is this old stone wall, same stone as is in the council hall, and same as the brick is made. And there is an old-fashioned gateway with the towers that go up slightly, probably about a floor and a half. So wall is about a story tall. These things are about a half story taller. And there's a wooden doors, which obviously are not original, that have been built into this that are currently wide open. And there are a couple of guards there. They look bored out of their brains. It is obviously, there's been no traffic along here. You're the first thing to happen, and it's at the end of the day. Fairly soon, they're going to be closing up.
Will they let us pass?
Yeah. They're just standing there. It's like Monty Python when Lancelot is charging up the hills, and the two guys are just standing there. This is them.
Okay.
What time do you close the gates at night?
When the sun goes down. Well, right before the sun goes down. When it gets dark enough that we can't really see. And you can see on the other side of the wall, there's a clear space that's probably 20 or 30 yards deep, cleared out. And the grass is fairly tall grass from there. And so, yeah. And you notice that the gatehouses are not manned. They're just these two guys there. They're not expecting any kind of trouble.
Well, we are on official business for the council, and we will probably be returning later this evening. How do we get back into town if the gates are closed?
Well, could climb over the wall, or you could wait until morning when we open.
So we won't be shot if we climb over the wall.
One guy looks at the other one. No, you should be fine.
Oh.
You should be fine.
I don't like that. Pause.
Should be.
I don't like that.
Seems
No.
seems very secure.
Yeah, I mean, no one mans the wall at night. There's nothing. This isn't like we're being invaded or anything. It's just, we kind of do it for proprietary sake, and also because this is the way some of the trade comes, to make sure that anybody who comes through is accounted for when. Well, it's to discourage smuggling, basically, so that somebody can't transport something in and kind of slide around behind without paying the proper taxes.
Makes
You're
sense.
not smuggling anything, are you?
No.
Well, then you're fine.
Just these fucking guns. No, I'm just
And the second guy who's like,
it's just,
respect,
My man.
Game recognizes game.
give him a high five on the way out.
Nice. And y'all head through the gates. And that is where we are going to wrap tonight.
Okay.
Okay. I'm excited about this house now.
Yeah.
And so, depending on how long the house takes, that may be 1 or 2 more sessions. And so that is the goal for this iteration of the one shot. So I was planning on y'all getting about halfway through tonight, possibly getting there. So we're pretty close to it. I'm guessing it'll be 2 sessions based on things, but yeah, that should be fun.
Yeah.
And we'll get more into the action and stuff. But there's enough seeds planted here with what y'all have been doing for fun interaction between your characters, and also for setting up potential future games. So
Love it.
So we're gonna play like Feather Stiff as a Board, Call for Bloody Mary.
Some of I'm sure Thoreau has a Ouija board.
You have a true skeptic in Thoreau, so he probably doesn't believe in ghosts.
Sarah, who may or may not believe in them, but is going to take care, but is going to I'm guessing, take into account the possibility and pay it their due respect.
Oh, straight up, Sarek believes in ghosts. Like at the circle, more than likely they saw plenty of them, since it was a sea circle. Since it was his, like, they were on the ocean, on the coast. So more than likely he saw his fair share of ghost sailors. Like more than likely have been shipwrecked and bodies brought in. So more than likely he's seen his own. So whenever he was like, yeah, there's ghosts, he was like, cool. Like, things I've seen before. Okay.
The devil I know.
I'm not a monster hunter, but I've seen people kill them. It can't be that difficult. It's just,
We're not gonna make it, are we? No. I'm kidding.
You're fine.
Just raging out at the thing. We're not gonna make it, are we?
No.
But yeah, so good times. You guys are fun, and
Absolutely.
y'all didn't take the bait, but Captain Das, his first
Yeah.
name is Lar.
Lardass.
Love it.
His
Oh my
father
God.
was
There you go.
Island, who goes by Y.
Wide
Wide
ass.
Wide ass.